I'm grateful that you all are here. This is going to be a rather short but impactful message. And for those of you that are here right now, or those of you who are watching on replay on YouTube, I want you to allow this message to just sink in. I believe that you will best receive this message with your eyes closed in a relaxed state. This message that I'm going to deliver to you today is one that I prepared specifically for you. Because I truly want you to help give you an understanding of what it means to live in the kingdom, to experience the kingdom of heaven. It is truly a state of being. It is not somewhere you have to go. And there's only one thing you need to do. So in today's message, as we wrap up our series about joy and how to cultivate that deep sense of joy that exists at the core of your being, and so to help illustrate this for you, I simply want to ask you 3 questions. That's today's message. I just have 3 questions for you. And I want you to answer these 3 questions at the depth of your being. And at some point, you have asked yourself these 3 questions. And when you asked yourself these questions, it was not your true self that answered them. For if your true self had answered these questions, you would not experience the emotional roller coaster that you are currently experiencing. If your true self had answered these questions, you would experience a profound sense of peace that is everlasting and forever expanding. So close your eyes and allow yourself to experience these questions. Allow yourself to be honest with yourself. Allow a different part of you to answer these questions. Not your everyday self, not the one that you identify with currently. That's the one I'm saying that is keeping you from seeing that you are your highest self already. So here's question number 1. Who do you think you are? I say think you are because it is the illusionary false self that typically answers this question. Your false self might say something like, I am, and insert your name. It may say, I am, and insert your occupation. It may say, I am, and insert your parental role. It may say, I am, and then insert whatever you believe your purpose is. None of these are you. At least not your true identity, your true nature. Because your true nature is pure, unconditioned awareness. And it is this message, this understanding that you are pure, unconditioned awareness that Jesus brought. That you are infinite, beyond what this little self can imagine. And it is when you recognize this pure, unconditional awareness, you will begin to truly experience on earth what you were meant to experience. And what you're meant to experience is far grander than any feeling that any trinket can give you. And it is deeper than any level of happiness that any amount of gold can offer you. Because love is your true nature. Because all that exists is love, and you are that. Now, I know you get this intellectually. And it is the false self that shields you from experiencing this fully. It is time to let this false identity go. I want you to think of a picture of a yin-yang diagram. And now I want you to imagine that the diagram represents the division between your false self and your highest self, your true self. And when that line is removed, all that will exist, all that is left, is your highest self. What I'm trying to help you understand in this moment right now is that you don't have to attain or reach or strive to become your highest self. You already are your highest self. But it is this false self, this egoic mind, this little I that shields you from recognizing who you already are. Your light, your highest self, when that line is dissolved, automatically overrides the darkness that comes with the false self, the egoic self. And that's because the egoic self, the little self, operates in the world of duality. And so because it operates in the world of duality, then the dramas that you experience must happen. When truth is, there is no duality. And in reality, there is only thought, and thought creates everything you experience. And the light that is your highest self knows that all there is light. The darkness is an illusion, but it feels real because you are still in the illusion yourself. And as long as you are in the illusion, as long as you are in the illusion, you will experience unnecessary suffering. It is only when you awaken that you will know this experientially. The false self cannot awaken because the problems that you are trying to solve only exist in the dual nature. Excuse me. The problems that you are trying to solve only exist in your dual nature, because when you awaken, you will clearly see that you are creating individually and as a collective consciousness the very problems you are trying to solve. And it is insanity. And it is time for you to allow yourself to be set free from this insanity and recognize your true self, pure, unconditioned awareness. It is what is meant when the great I Am said, be still, and know that I am God. Not the ego, not that the ego is God, but that I am itself, pure unconditioned awareness, is God. It's my second question for you. Why do you think you want what you want? What is it that you're truly after? Do you know? And I'm not talking about the physical attainment or some success level or acquisition of some object. No, these are only means to an end. I am asking you, what is the end? The end is not the thing, or the feeling is not the, excuse me, the end is not the thing, but it is the feeling that the thing will allow you to feel. So what is that feeling? Do you know? Have you ever asked yourself what that feeling was? Have you ever allowed yourself to go deep enough to find out what that feeling is that you are after, that you're really after? Because if you allow yourself to go deep enough, you will discover that the feeling that you are after is just a deep longing for something that you have tricked yourself into believing that you are missing. So what is it that you think you're missing? Not externally, but internally. And are you willing to be still and sit in silence alone and go into the depths of your mind to discover what it is that you think you lack? Are you willing to uncover and examine your childhood to find out where exactly this deep sense of lack comes from? Are you willing to be completely and utterly wrong about having this deep sense of lack? Because the truth about you is that you lack nothing. You never have, and you never will. It is impossible for you to lack anything. And that lack is just a trick of the mind who has identified with the insane illusion of duality. The truth is, you don't need peace because you already are peace. You don't need love because you already are love. You don't need joy because you already are joy. You don't need respect because you already are respect. You don't need to feel like you're good enough because you already are good enough and you never were not good enough. You don't need to feel worthy because you were never not worthy. You don't need to feel like you deserve something because you already are everything. You just can't see it because the ego mind won't allow you to. So it is necessary for you to immediately wake up from this dream that you've been dreaming, and for some of you, the dream that has become a nightmare. Because what you think you're after, it's not what you really want. Because you're not who you think you are. Question 3. When will you stop? Are you not tired yet? How much more stress and sorrow and worry and doubt and fear and grief and loneliness will you continue to inflict on yourself for the sake of keeping this insane dream alive? Why are you so afraid to put down the mask that you know is too heavy to carry? Is it the fear of the unknown? Is it the fear of losing yourself? Is it the argument that you know who you are? Because I'll tell you, if you are experiencing suffering, then you don't really know who you truly are. Because when you come to the recognition of your true nature, then you will know with absolute certainty that there is no suffering, only resistance. For the awakened mind trusts all things and allows all things, because the awakened mind knows that all things are serving its highest good, because only good exists. The awake mind knows that there is no random occurrences. There's no such thing as chance or luck or coincidence. The awake mind knows that there is only creation, and creation is infinite. The awake mind knows that there is only pure awareness, unlimited possibility, and it is your thoughts that shape this awareness. If you doubt this, then I want you to conduct an experiment. I want you to identify 5 of your last experiences, 5 of the last things that you remember experiencing in your life. And then I want you to trace it back to past conversations that either you had with yourself or with someone else, where you have spoke of or thought of the very experience that you're experiencing. If you do this correctly, you will discover that what you've experienced is not a random occurrence, but a creation of your own mind. The truth about you is that you are powerful beyond measure, powerful beyond anything you can possibly conjure up in your mind. Take the idea of what you think powerful is to you and then multiply it by infinite, and you still won't comprehend the magnitude of your divine power. And some of you watching this, you have tried plant medicine, which means you have caught a glimpse of what this divine truth is. Now I want you to imagine abiding and existing and creating from that truth 24/7, unimpeded, boundless, effortless, and timeless. Because to be awake is to recognize that there aren't a bunch of souls connected in this. There aren't a bunch of souls. To be awake is to recognize that there aren't a bunch of souls inhabiting different bodies, but that there is one soul, one awareness, one energy inhabiting all bodies. And that one source is you. This is the kingdom. To not eat from the tree of good and evil is to no longer accept duality. That there is something being created by something else outside of you. There is no evil, but the egoic self will convince you that you are there and I am here, and that there is things that you need to do to get what you want to get, to feel what you want to feel, and that somehow I can be in the way, or some evil spirit can be in the way, or something besides your own creative mind can stop you from getting it. That is a lie. It is the biggest lie, and it is written right there in Genesis, and your ego won't allow you to see it, because the moment you see it, the ego dies. If you are looking for the devil, then look no further than your own reflection, because that's the only place a so-called devil exists. The trickster, the whisperer of lies, the selfish one, the one that stirs the drama, the one that causes misery, the quote unquote bad thoughts that enter your mind. There is nothing outside of you that's creating that. That is all you. Identifying with the false self. The false self is your devil. Because your true self knows there is no lack. Your true self knows there is nothing to worry about. There is nothing to fear. Your true self knows that thoughts create. And as long as you keep your mind focused on the good, but once you become your true self, you will know that all that exists is good. So there's nothing to impede your creation. And that if something does come into your life that you don't want to experience, you know exactly where it came from. That there was no opposing force outside of you doing it to you. That is a lie. It is a children's story. It is a boogeyman story, and it is meant to keep you asleep. Because to awaken is to understand at the depth, at the core of your being, that none of that is real. The only thing that is real is pure unconditioned awareness. The reality that you experience is simply how you're shaping that experience with your own powerful mind. This is the message that Jesus brought. This is what he meant when he said, I have come so that you may have life and have it more abundantly. This is what he meant when he said, I have not come to abolish the law. I have come to fulfill it. I have come to show you what you are missing. You don't need to wait for anybody. You are already here. Just look beyond. Just here's what I want you to do. Allow yourself to think for yourself for a moment. And look past the idea of God that traditional religion or your family or society has taught you. I'm not asking you to disbelieve it. I'm just asking you for a moment to push it to the side and look past it. Look beyond the identity that you were given. And ask yourself, does it make sense to create 8 billion different versions of yourself and predetermine who you're going to punish then thereafter and who you're going to say? Does that make sense to you? The depth of your being is saying, no, that doesn't make sense to me. But then the program will come back and say, well, that's not what the teacher said. That's not what I was taught by my family. They don't know because they're asleep too. That's the truth. The depth of your being knows everything that I am saying is absolutely true. And it is only your ego and the false programming buried deep down in your subconscious mind that is battling you. You are everything. And until you wake up to that, until you allow this false self to be recognized. By the way, that is what Jesus meant when he said, "Get back behind me, Satan." He was simply talking about moving his ego from the front to the back. And then the ego, the devil in this story, goes, well, since you're so powerful now, since you know that you are the infinite, since you know that you are everything, since you know that you are God, why don't you go ahead and turn this rock into bread? And what did he say? Don't tempt me. Because he understood who he was, and he spent the next 3 years of his life trying to get you to understand who you are. This is what made him a problem. And he sacrificed himself so that you would pay attention. Because he knew he was you. But you refuse to know that you are him. Because that's not what your teachers taught you. The only way to awaken and experience the kingdom, seek first the kingdom, the pure unconditioned awareness that is you, and all that you can possibly desire will be delivered unto you, unimpeded and without obstacle. It's because you will have woken up from the insane illusion of duality and know that only awareness exists, and you can have whatever you desire. And nothing and no one can stop you from having it, except your own thinking. Listen to this message over and over again. Meditate on this message. Ask yourself these questions in silence. Go deep. Look beyond the cartoon character of a God that religion has painted for you. Look beyond that. Look past it. Because if you just go one step past it, you will see intellectually that everything I'm saying to you is true. Because your spirit already knows it's true. Your spirit already accepts it. But it's your mind that will battle you. I love you. And I will continue to come here every single week to help you truly understand what it means to be the fruit of the Spirit. What it truly means to live in the kingdom. Because it is time for you to awaken, as I have. I love you. Good night.